Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Nathan. On this video, I'll tell you when it's possible for each pro sports league to return this year. It was one of the best times of the year for sports. The NBA and the NHL seasons were nearing playoffs. MLB spring training was underway, and the NCAA tournament was approaching. MLS season was underway, the new football league, the XFL, and then silence. The real gravity of the coronavirus situation didn't hit the U.S. until early March. First, Utah Jazz center Rudy Gobert tested positive for the coronavirus. And the next day, the NBA announced it was suspending its season. And that same day, the NHL, which played many of its games in the same arena as the NBA, announced it would postpone its schedule. Then MLS halted its season over COVID-19 fears. And that announcement was followed by MLB slamming the brakes on spring training, and as well as the World Baseball Classic qualifier games. And on the same day, the new-look XFL canceled the remainder of its regular season games. The All-English club decided to cancel Wimbledon due to public health concerns linked to the coronavirus pandemic. The French Open Tennis Championship followed suit by announcing it would move to the fall. And the Boston Marathon, traditionally held on Patriots Day in April, was moved to September 14th. A few days later, the PGA postponed the Masters until November, and the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo were moved to July of 2021. So when will your favorite sports league return? Keep watching to find out. MLB did announce that on July 6th that there would be a 60-game season. The 2020 MLB opening day was held on July 23rd with two fantastic matchups, starting with the New York Yankees going against the defending World Series champions, the Washington Nationals. And then the second matchup is a rivalry that is legendary in sports, and that is the San Francisco Giants and the Los Angeles Dodgers. The rest of the league started on July 24th. With the cancellation of spring training in March, which cost Major League Baseball some $200 million. By delaying opening day, it would cost the league broadcasters about $60 million in the first 3 months. When the season started on July 23rd without fans in attendance, the league projected it would lose $640,000 per game. NBA announced on June 4th that the NBA's Board of Governors approved a competitive format for the comeback of the 2019-2020 season, with 22 teams returning to play and a start date of July 30th. On June 26th, the NBA and the National Basketball Players Association finalized a comprehensive plan for the July 30th restart date for the 2019-2020 season. The NBA and Disney reached an agreement to have all games played at the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex at Walt Disney World Resort near Orlando, Florida. The venues for all games will be inside the arena, Fieldhouse, and the Visa Athletic Center. There will be no live audience or tickets available for the remaining of the 2019-2020 season and through the NBA Finals due to COVID-19 health protocols. The first round of the NBA playoffs begin August 17th. The conference semifinals begin August 31st. The conference finals begin September 15th. The NBA Finals begin on September 30th. NHL is back and going straight to the playoffs with 24 teams resuming play. Those teams will travel to one of two cities on July 26th for exhibition games. The qualifying round would begin on August 1st and will roughly conclude no later than October 4th of 2020 with the Stanley Cup Finals. NHL teams lost about $1.6 million in revenue per team for every canceled home game. The odds of the NFL season even taking place didn't sound promising on Sunday, July 19th. When NFL players blasted the league over health and safety concerns heading into training camp. Fortunately, it led to a huge victory for the National Football League Players Association, and the outlook for the season starting on time is positive. NFL Executive Vice President of Football Operations Troy Vincent sent a memo to all 32 GMs and head coaches, telling them that the schedule remains in place. All rookies reported on July 21st. Quarterbacks and injured players reported on July 23rd, and all other players reported on July 28th. The NFL announced that there would be no preseason games this year. Currently, the Kansas City Chiefs are scheduled to host the Houston Texans for the NFL kickoff game on September 10th. While things could always change during the COVID-19 pandemic, it is likely that the 2020 NFL season could begin on time. The league officials have stated the goal is to have fans in the stands during games. While the league desires to have fans walking through the gates, that decision is largely out in the NFL's hands. The governors of states with NFL teams will ultimately decide whether fans will be allowed to attend games as they deal with COVID-19. The NFL won't be issuing any uniform guidelines regarding stadium capacity or a minimum or maximum number of fans will defer to individual teams to make that determination, according to a report. The governors of each state will have to adopt very different stances as to whether to allow fans in stadiums. The NFL wants to have fans in stadiums because the league will lose an estimated $3 billion in revenue without them. The Miami Dolphins became the first NFL team to reveal plans that would eventually allow fans to attend live games with a much smaller crowd. Miami's Hard Rock Stadium generally holds about 65,000 people. The Dolphins would cut that number to just 15,000 people. The 2020 college football season is in jeopardy after the Big Ten and the Pac-12 conferences announced that their schools will not play this fall. As of now, 54 of the 130 FBS teams will not play football this fall. The Big Ten and the Pac-12 announced that their decisions were to delay the season. Outside the Power 5 conferences, the Mid-American Conference, and then the Mountain West Conference, which include 12 teams apiece, have both canceled their fall sports seasons. Old Dominion, a member of the Conference USA, announced that it will not play this fall, even though its league plans to hold the football season as scheduled. 3 independents, the University of Connecticut, the University of Massachusetts, and New Mexico State have decided against playing sports this fall. After all the Power 5 conferences adjusted their 2020 schedules, independents scrambled to find opponents. The 6 conferences that have not announced plans to delay this season are the SEC, the Big 12, the ACC, the Sun Belt Conference, the American Athletic Conference, and the Conference USA. Those that are still in conferences would only play conference games only for the upcoming 2020 football schedule. All of the non-conference games have been canceled. With the cost of a canceled college football season, an outright cancellation would devastate the college sports economy. Football is the industry's primary revenue engine, and a lost season would wipe out $4 billion total revenue according to ESPN. The implications would reach far beyond the field itself. There is a chance that we might see college football this year, but a lot of teams will not play this fall. So I believe that there will be a college football season, but with only conference games. A major cancellation with the NCAA tournament, a huge cash generator for college sports. Mark Emmert, the NCAA president, told ESPN in March that 85% of NCAA revenue comes from its March tournament. More troublesome, the NCAA was slated to send some $600 million to various athletic conferences in the U.S. Since the tournament cancellation, the NCAA says the amount will be about $225 million. The result of that is some schools could be forced to make cuts to athletic budgets. The WNBA announced on June 15th that the WNBA season would begin on July 24th. They will be playing their 22-game regular season schedule at IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida, followed by a traditional playoff format. This will be the most unique season in league history, and their games will be played without fans this season. What was once an unthinkable long shot became a fortunate reality on March 24th to delay the 2020 Olympic Games. The Japanese Prime Minister announced that the Games are rescheduled from late July of 2020 to summer of 2021. The International Olympic Committee said by delaying the Games until 2021 would cost $800 million. That decision came after months of speculation and protests from athletes and officials. For right now, the Summer Olympic Games will begin on Friday, July 23rd of 2021. Thomas Bach has described next summer's Tokyo Olympics as the first major opportunity for the world to celebrate the end of the COVID-19 pandemic. with the Olympic flame serving as a light at the end of the dark tunnel. The real question is, however, is whether that post-COVID-19 world will exist on July 23rd of 2021, when the rescheduled Tokyo Olympics are slated to begin. Public health experts are highly skeptical, as COVID-19 continues to spread, with more than 24.6 million confirmed cases and more than 833,000 deaths around the world. They say it's unlikely that the Tokyo Olympics and the Paralympics, which are set to begin on August 24th of 2021, can or will be held as scheduled. Both outfits, however, have said they remain fully committed to holding the games approximately 1 year from now, and that they will not postpone a second time due to COVID-19. If they cannot be held as currently scheduled, they will simply be cancelled. That move will have a $1 billion ripple effect for the Olympic movement and the Japanese economy and television networks like NBC. So for right now, the Summer Olympic Games are up in the air in 2021. The brand new Spring Football League, the XFL, announced that on March 20th that they officially canceled the remainder of the 2020 season in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. During the time that the league was still playing games, they averaged 1.9 million television views per game and generated nearly $20 million in gross revenue in 2020. According to court filings, it had projected $46 million in gross revenue for a 10-game season. Each data point exceeded internal expectations, according to sources. On April 10th of 2020, league president Jeffrey Pollock informed employees on a conference call that the league was suspending operations and that all employees would be terminated. 3 days later, on April 13th, the league filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection, stating that the COVID-19 pandemic had deprived the league of tens of millions of dollars in revenue. With the bankruptcy filing, the league put itself up for sale and the deadline to file as a bearer was on July 30th. The auction took place on August 3rd and the sale hearing was on August 7th. On August 2nd of 2020, it was reported that a group led by Dwayne Johnson, Danny Garcia, and Redbird Capital purchased the XFL for $15 million. The purchase was approved on August 7th. Danny Garcia stated that the league is planning a 2021 season to possibly be played in a bubble environment. For right now, there is a great chance we're going to see the XFL next year. The 2020 Major League Rugby season began on February 8th of 2020. 3 new teams made their debut in 2020. New England Free Jacks, Old Glory DC, and Rugby ATL. On March 12th of 2020, MLR announced the season would go on pause immediately for 30 days due to the fears of the surrounding COVID-19 pandemic. 7 days later, MLR announced that the 2020 season was officially canceled. On March 18th, Major League Rugby announced that they will be returning for the 2021 season. Just days after, the American Ultimate Disc League released a proposal to hold a weekend tournament inside a bubble-like environment, the AUDL told team owners that it is canceling its 2020 season due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The league will return for the 2021 season. MLS suspended its 2020 season on March 12th, after 2 weeks, due to COVID-19 pandemic in the United States. The suspension was initially set for a 30-day period and was followed by similar actions from other leagues and competitions, including the CONCACAF Champions League and US Open Cup. The suspension was extended a month further to May 10th and following with a recommendation from the Center of Disease Control. MLS officially returned to play with the MLS is Back tournament, which kicked off was on July 8th and will run until a champion is declared on August 11th. The matches will take place at ESPN Worldwide of Sports Complex in Walt Disney World. There will be no fans present. Major League Soccer will resume its regular season on August 12th, with its 26 teams playing in their home markets. The MLS Cup is rescheduled for December 12th, the latest date the league has ever played the championship game at. The PGA Tour announced on April 16th that its plans to resume the 2019-2020 season on June 11th through 14th at the Charles Schwab Challenge, 3 weeks later than originally scheduled and without fans in attendance. For right now, the season is going on without fans currently. The PGA Tour announced on July 13th that no fans will attend events for the remainder of the 2019-2020 season. This would even affect the food courts of each company that provides beverages and food to each home game sports event. This would have a major impact on all services such as hotels, restaurants, and anything associated with the care of the traveling public coming to see the sports event. For right now, there are a lot of sports that are now playing again, and other sports are still returning to play. So what do you guys think of the current situation with sports? Join me in the comment section below, and please don't forget to subscribe. Of course, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to just keep loving sports, and I'll see you next time.